It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week, and we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. Before I introduce our guest, let me introduce my co-host first, from here locally, Cincinnati, Ohio. She's operating principal of several Keller Williams offices in the Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio area. Sarah Close. Hi, Sarah. How's the real estate business? And you run a team, and every day you look for new business, expireds for sale by owners, your database, anybody that needs a house or needs to sell a house, right?
That's who we want to talk to. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How do you run all these Keller Williams offices and lead generate?
I would say that my number one tool in doing that is a schedule, and it's especially effective if I actually follow it. So
there we go. And you know what's kind of funny? Our guest does a very similar thing to you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have
operating principal with Keller Williams, and is also lead generating and has a team as well. And a lot of exciting things to discuss here in April 2020, which are very interesting times. So before I introduce her, I want to remind everybody that we're simulcasting the show on the private lead gen group on Facebook. They have 52,000 members, so we have a large audience there today as well. And we'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the lead gen folks. Let's welcome our guest today from beautiful Little Rock, Arkansas, Miss Kerry Ellison. How are you, Kerry?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank y'all for having me.
Good. And hopefully we can learn a few little tidbits so people out there that are taking 1 listing a month can get to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to, and all on up.
Yeah, that'd be good. We see a lot of agents come in taking 1 or falling into 1. So we can help them figure out to double that or triple that. Then we did some good today.
Good.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Hey, Kerry, tell us a little bit about your business. How long have you been in the business? What was your path to this career, and kind of how you were born and then what happened?
So I got in the business in 1994, and I have been doing real estate primarily at a small company, and then joined Keller Williams in October of 2005. Kind of started a new journey when I started with Keller Williams. I'd been a successful real estate agent and had been doing, 7 to 10 million for quite a while, and just could never break through the ceiling. And when I got to Keller Williams, they kind of taught you to do things a little bit different, be a little more purposeful in what you did, follow a model. I call it cheat, copy and cheat. And so see what somebody else is doing and figure out how they're doing it, and then do it for a little while and put your spin on it. So that's what we've done. And now I have a team of 7. And we were number 10 in the state in Arkansas. And right now we're number 1 in our MLS in Central Arkansas for the year.
Congratulations. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're happy. We're excited. Yeah.
That is terrific. So what are your goals for 2020 for your organization?
That's a good question, because what we had, are we going to hit it? Our goal was to do 200 transactions at 40 million. And I believe right now we're going to be pretty close. We're a little bit under that. I think we'll probably hit 150 to 170, just depending what the rest of the spring looks like,
Sure.
and the activity, and in today's world, the market's changed a little bit. So
talk to us about how your market has changed with the pandemic. What does that look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
We are, the staff of Keller Williams is still coming up to the office, and yet our agents are working from home. We are not shelter in place. We are able to still show homes, and we are still doing live open houses and doing Facebook Live open houses. We're doing virtual showings if necessary, but we still are able to go list and sell homes. It's just in today's environment, the listings have gotten very, our pendings, homes going under contract have outpaced homes coming on the contract. So we're really starting to eat into our inventory.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So that's a good thing. Houses are still selling. If you're working, you're selling homes.
If I could ask you, that's a really interesting point that is, I think, something that's getting overlooked in, I think, at least in our marketplace, I feel it's getting overlooked. What are you using as far as a script with that data to talk with people about coming onto the marketplace? Like, in general, what scripts are you using in the environment today? Would love to hear.
I think one of our best ones is, how are you? If it's a network have met or a past client, hey, how are you? How are things going? How is life? How's your job? It's just the simple care call. And then a lot of times that leads into, they ask you the same question. And that's when you say, the craziest thing in this market is buyers are still out buying. We need more listings. So if you know of anybody that has a vacant house or is really motivated to sell, now is a great time to buy, especially if you're buying up. Our average price range in our market here is about 200,000. My team runs closer to 300,000. Mm-hmm. And if we have a buyer in that first time home, under 200, we're getting multiple offers, and we're usually getting multiple offers in the first 3 days. If we've got something up to 250, we're still getting a lot of activity and offers. The bigger homes are slowing down, and that's where I tell my first time home buyers or the move up buyers, it's a great time to move up. And we use that script a lot. If you're at home with your kids crammed in a house, trying to do school and work, what about the house have you learned you really love? And what about your house have you learned maybe you don't love so much, that maybe we could find you another home?
That's a great script.
I like that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about the structure of your day. I think many folks have had to kind of rethink what their schedule might look like with the new restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
If I always think of it as bivocational. If someone has children and is selling real estate, that's different.
Yeah.
What does your schedule look like today versus what it looked like previously? And what would you recommend for someone schedule-wise right now?
I think the most important thing is to start and plan a schedule. I think the biggest mistake I see in a lot of agents, and even agents on my team, is they get up and they know they've got stuff to do, yet their top 20% isn't on their calendar. Everything else is on the calendar, like they've got to be here or they've got to go to a home inspection, yet somewhere along the way, they forget that, I heard this in one of our classes at KW, that there's nothing more important than finding new business. If you were out there taking care of business, you're not going to have any business because you've got to replace that business. So the most important thing on your calendar has got to be finding new business and following up with your leads.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So I think the biggest change in my calendar is it's more scheduled, because I've got to be more purposeful every day. If I didn't get my contacts in, our team is still hitting 20 contacts a day.
Wow. Now, is that per person? Is that how you guys do that? Okay.
Per person. Yeah. And that can be a text. It can be while you're in your car running somewhere. It can be on the way to the grocery store. I think all of us in today's world have met new neighbors.
Yeah.
I know my husband is at home walking our poor dogs 3 times a day. So
walking their little legs off. Yeah.
I know. So we're getting a walk in the morning and a walk in the afternoon. And so I've actually picked up a lead from one of our new neighbors. I've picked up multiple leads, just from talking to our neighbors. How are you surviving this? The new world, as I call it, our new normal.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, it really has been. I mean, knock on wood, so far, if people do what they're scheduled to be doing, we have the same thing going on here that you do. For example, last week in Cincinnati, there were 450 new listings.
Wow.
And 500 pendings.
Wow.
So we troughed out when we sheltered in place. That was our biggest drop, and it's been steadily increasing since then. So, yeah.
And I'm really worried that in about 3 or 4 weeks, all the sellers that want to come on, that maybe they need to put on a new roof or a new this or carpet or what, they're not going to find the contractors. Yeah. They're all going to be swamped. They better get the work done now.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
So, Kerry, you're making it sound like everybody thinks about, well, I have to make 20 contacts a day and all this and schedule that. It does. That's about as unnatural for humans of anything out there. They'll schedule where they have to be because they have to be there and somebody's expecting them. But they don't have to talk to 20 people and nobody's expecting them to. Or in your case, do you have to make 20 and somebody's expecting you to make 20 contacts?
So I think on my team, one of the great things is the accountability piece. At the end of the day, we report our numbers. So I think it doesn't matter if you're part of a team or if you're an individual agent. Find a buddy. Go find a group. Find one of your friends and say, hey, we're going to have a game. I'm going to bet you a bottle of wine, or I'm going to bet you a gift certificate somewhere. This is my goal. And it's like I tell people, you've got to build up to it. I remember when, hitting, 15 listing appointments was something big, a month. And now it's like, oh, I hit 15, or oh, I hit 18. It's not, you get used to it. It's kind of breaking through that ceiling. And it's the same thing with the lead gen. Once you get in the rhythm, you create the model or the habit, and then you don't do it, you feel like you've done something wrong for the day. And you're like, I got to talk to somebody. I got to go talk to somebody.
Any way you look at it, I think we all need a little bit of accountability somewhere, external versus. Now, the two of you're both high driver personalities. I'm well.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
You both are. So you both look at it and goes, well, who wouldn't?
I know.
For both of you, most people wouldn't. So what can you, if you're a solo agent, you're watching this and you're like, I know I should. Well, and getting a buddy will help. Anything else they should be looking at to light a fire so that they have an amazing spring and summer.
I don't know if you can see it. I've got my
I see Pebble Beach.
I have my dream boards.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I've got 2 dream boards in here for why I'm working so hard and what my goals are. So it goes back to what's your big why and why are you doing what you're doing? And and if you're just, a lot of people, like one of our girls on my team wants to take their kids to Walt Disney World, so finding most agents, aren't in this just for the money. Most agents are in this for the customer service side because we want to help people. Okay. And it's tying that reason we're doing this every day to help more people. And then finding your big why, because it's hard to get up and get motivated. I know Sarah can probably attest to this. I've been listening a lot to Think Like a CEO with Gary Keller, and it talks about we all get up every day and we have models because 70% of our day is built off habits. So you just get to choose which habit you're going to follow and create. And then if you're going to improve it or not. So what are you doing today that is helping you be a little bit better than you were yesterday? So what does that mean? Does that mean that I talked to 5 people today? Great. Then you know what? Let's try for 10 tomorrow. What can I do today to be a little bit better than I was yesterday?
Yeah, it's a great time to ask that question. It really is, because you actually, if you think about some of the commute time even you're saving and squirrel that away and dedicate that instead to working on your business or thinking on your business, you can really start to identify, I think, some of the patterns that maybe aren't serving you or aren't as efficient as perhaps we might think they are, because we just get so quick going one thing to the other, in our previous normalcy. So I think
and I think they talk a lot about creating good habits or creating the right habits, because just like our TV went out last night. So this morning, DirecTV was out on our home, and it's like I woke up and it's like I usually flip on the TV and watch it. And I thought, no, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my run, I'm going to do my exercises. And I got to work going, oh my gosh, that's so much better than watching the news in the morning for me. It's just more of it helps with your energy levels, and it's creating a better habit. So it's no different than calling expired, calling a FSBO, or doing follow-up calls. It's just a habit you create.
Yeah, it's a great point. Speaking of for sale by owners and expireds, generally speaking, when you're prospecting, what all types of folks are you contacting? What all categories, I guess, lead gen levers or whatever term you use?
Yeah, obviously being in the business a long time, we've got a great source of network have met and past clients, which is where the bulk of our business comes from. And then, I still love to jump on a dialer and run through expireds and FSBOs because they're people with their hand up saying, I don't remember which seminar I was at. You're driving by a FSBO and let me see, you're in real estate and somebody's standing there with their hand up going, I want to sell. And you just keep driving by.
Yeah.
And it goes back to expired and FSBOs. They're out there wanting to do business. So you've got to get to ready business, and that's how you do it.
Is that part of your day? Do you call them every day? And how many days a week do you prospect, generally speaking?
5. I would say 5. Mondays are a little iffy with our calls, and the KW stuff. I definitely get 4 solid days in, and I do. I call through expireds and FSBOs daily. And I'll make a point I go through old lists. I go through old expireds. I was just sitting here earlier on a dialer, going through expireds from the beginning of the year till current.
What kind of conversations are you having right now? How are they receptive to the calls? What are you
they're thrilled to talk to you. They're thrilled to, and we were having that discussion, the ones that are answering the phones, which we're getting more answers on expireds and for sub owners right now than ever.
Yeah.
And they're just happy to talk. They just want to know, I think that we've got so much negative news out there going on right now. They're happy to hear that 1, the real estate market isn't crashing. And number 2, we're still selling homes and listing them. Yeah. And a lot of people that had their house on the market have to sell. It's not like they're out there wanting to. They're moving out of state. They got a job transfer. They had a job change. They're getting a divorce.
Sure.
They have to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. What types of things do you do on a regular basis to keep your head in the game and to keep your mindset right? What works well for you?
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of podcasts. We do script and role play. We have started 9 a.m. huddles here at the office. And we will do, what's your one domino you've got to knock down in the middle of the day? What's your 20%? And that if that happens, nothing else matters. And then we go into 1 or 2 scripts and role plays, with everything from lead follow-up on open houses to Facebook lead follow-up to expired FSBOs.
That sounds great. What objections are you hearing out there right now?
Well, one, I just had one where they owned a small business and they don't know if they're going to be in business in, 2 or 3 weeks. So that's a real one. Some people are just like, we just put one on the market that was an old expired. And they said they were worried that their house wouldn't sell because it didn't sell the last time. And I said, no, the market's better. There's no inventory. And we did. We sold it in 2 days for full price. So those objections, those are pretty much what I'm hearing, or we're going to wait for this to kind of ride out.
Yeah, I would think when they say they're going to wait and you explain that they can probably get 110% of value, that moves them right into the process.
Yeah,
it helps.
And and honestly, you don't have a lot of looky-loos.
No, your buyers out there are ready. Your buyers out there are serious and ready. Yeah. And they're ready.
What more could you ask for? Sell in 2-3 days, no looky-loos, maybe a little hand sanitizer, and you're off to the races.
Yeah, and the other thing we tell them is, there's nothing that says we have to have longer than a 2-week listing contract or a month listing contract right now. We need to put it out there and see how the market's going to respond. The other big thing we work with them on is there's more people looking online now than have been, Sarah, probably since you and I have been in the business, and Ren, there's more people online looking than ever because they're sitting at home, they're bored, they're in front of their computer more, and they're sitting in their houses more.
Are you finding there's a little more eagerness to talk with somebody that has a little bit of positivity? I mean, are more people answering the phone and things like that?
Yeah, we are. And I remember there were a few people up at our office that don't call for sale by owners or expireds. And they called them and they're like, they were so nice. They were so happy to talk to me, So I think that, yeah, people just want to know that the economy's not crashing. We're still moving. Houses are still selling.
Yeah. So if you have your market stats and you have some stories like you're telling as well from recent experience, that you know, that sways them instantly. Because if you watch television, you would think nothing's happening.
Oh, I
When
know.
in fact, maybe more is happening than than a normal spring.
Yeah.
If you're a seller, anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a great time. You know, what we tell our sellers is we've got a little checklist that the realtors put out, Realtor Association put out for how to show your home during COVID and what to do. Leave the lights on, leave the doors open, and off you go. You know, use hand sanitizer when you come back and wipe your light fixtures, your rails, and this, that, and the other.
Yeah. And just tell them, leave the lights on, don't touch a thing. You know, I mean, and honestly, if I was a buyer, I don't think I'd want to touch anything.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Kerry, you mentioned that your team does open houses. Is that a fundamental lead generation source for your organization right now, or, you know, previously?
Yes, it was. And you know what was interesting is we weren't getting the return on investment from it that we wanted to. Mm-hmm. And we've since switched over to a new system called Command, as you know. And there's some really great, what we found is that the follow-up by the agents wasn't as robust as it should have been. And when we took that out of their hands and we put it into the automated plans, their conversions started going through the roof.
Oh, that's so you've built a smart plan, so to speak, around the event of an open house where that follow-up is now automated.
Yep. And it includes text messages, you know, that's automated through Twilio and through Command.
Yeah.
So just by, and it's already in there, you just have to hit activate.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. What do you do up front to promote your open houses? How are you guys driving traffic? Do you do a standard 7th level type open house? What are your steps? Where do you guys get the most traction so that you really take advantage of that time?
You know, there's two different things. We have one in the live era and what we're doing now. And then, yes, we were doing 7th level, where every Friday, everybody went out and door knocked 100 doors. We dropped flyers. We door knocked 100 doors. Our promotion for our open houses, we get them filled on Monday. By Tuesday, we've got them in our MLS. So the feeds are going out to Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, all of those places. Mm-hmm. And then we have the agents preview the property. And then we started on Facebook. You know, we'll go in and do the Facebook ads through Lead Accelerator, and we will also share it to the homeowners so they share it themselves. And then, you know, by Friday, we're starting we do get signed. We start door knocking on Friday, and then by Saturday, we have signs out for the open houses on Sunday.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful tool to use. I'm wondering if you were a new agent or a newer agent, perhaps, that maybe wasn't carrying a lot of listing inventory right now, what would be your advice to someone who's getting started or restarting their business in the market today? What do you think is the best opportunity for an agent today?
Well, I think it always starts with your database. You know, people are so much more likely. I tell you can make 6 to 10 phone calls and get a lead out of your database. You know, when we're talking to for sale by owners or expireds, you're probably talking to 1 in 20 to 1 in 25 to set an appointment. Maybe 1 in 16, just depending on the scripts. You know, so your quickest way to get agents into activity is talking to their friends and talking to people they know. And what we find is so many people are afraid to ask for business that we work with them on a theme home. Like, you know, oh my gosh, I just saw, I'll call you. Hey, Sarah, it's Kerry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kerry?
I am good. Oh my gosh. I just saw this amazing house at 123 Main Street. You would die if you saw this kitchen. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh, wow. Tell me about it.
Well, and it's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, $275,000. It's move-in condition. And I would just love to find a buyer for it. Who do you know that might want to buy in that area?
Probably every person that's looking at their kitchen and hating it right now.
I know.
So long, for sure. Oh, that sounds like a great place. You know what? I actually had a girlfriend that was thinking about moving, and then she just kind of dropped it, you know, when all this stuff went sideways. That might be the area she's looking in. I don't know. I'll have to let her know about it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, if you don't mind checking with her, and then if she responds, let me know. I would be glad to send you guys an email to it, okay? And I can even text it to you if you want to give me her name and number.
Oh,
or I
gosh,
could forward you.
great. Maybe you can send
Yeah.
me the link and I'll send it to her. Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. And are you doing okay? You surviving through all this stuff?
Oh, thanks for asking. We're doing very well so far. We're very fortunate that everyone's still healthy. So thanks for asking. You guys well?
Yeah, well, the market's still crazy. We're down a little bit year over year, but overall, we're still selling a lot of homes. It's a little unusual.
Great to hear. Nice to hear good news.
I know. Well, Sarah, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for calling, Kerry.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that felt really easy.
And I think the biggest hurdle with agents is they're afraid to ask for business. So, kind of massaging it in a way that you're just excited about a house and you would love to sell the home. And then it's about you, not them, and you not hounding them about, oh, who do you know that needs to buy or sell?
I think that felt very, very comfortable. So yeah, and I'm now going to be looking forward to seeing that link. And Lord knows I got enough time to send that on to about 8 other people with these 10 other meetings I'm going to forward out to. So that felt really good. Thank you. That's great. That's great advice. I
think that the other thing, obviously, is you've got people over there with their hands up that are actively on the market as a for sale by owner or an expired. Mm-hmm. And, if somebody wants to build their listings, that's where you start.
Yeah, it's just a matter of where their comfort level is. If somebody's newer in the business and they're not used to having these conversations and asking for business, now, some people it's starting with their friends. And some people it's starting with strangers because they'd be terrified to talk to their friends. So wherever their comfort level is, make a goal of, like you were talking about earlier, make a goal of talking to blank people a day, and then keep walking that up. Well, this is some powerful stuff to help people, not only in this unique situation we're in right now in the spring of 2020, but just in general, just the accountability, just being in conversation, asking how people are, getting things moving along, having a goal. The challenge I have is you have 2 drivers here that, what do you mean? We'll all make calls. But then it's all those people watching that say I should. Yes. Yeah. Should.
And then they go down the hall and they get a cup of coffee or somebody calls.
I know. They need to just write a check to somebody to hold them accountable.
Or put a big sticky note up in front of them saying, talk to this many people, and you play a game. So you don't get up out of your chair until you've done it.
Right.
Well, yeah. And that, yeah. Or I think some people just need to be embarrassed. It's sort of like, it's like you go to the gym, you'll get up at 5:30 in the morning or 6 and go if somebody's standing there waiting for you. If they're not, you won't go. Yeah, we have to set up these kind of situations where there's a little bit of pain in this that you move away from. You're moving away from that pain.
And that's such a good point, because I think, everybody thinks you magically get up and do X number of lead gen a day. You do X number of follow-up. You do all this. The bottom line is we all have coaches, because we've got to have somebody, and not even if it's an accountability piece, you've got to have somebody checking in that is going to call you and say, how are your numbers? How are things going? Are you getting this done?
Now we got the real secret. Both of these lovely ladies have coaches. I'm sure of it. I'm guessing, but I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. Yeah. You have a coach and you have a coach, right?
Yeah. I have 2. So
you have 2 coaches. Okay.
I have 2 coaches. Yeah.
You both have 2 coaches.
Yeah.
Well, we do have 2
okay.
jobs.
So now you know the real secret, folks.
Yeah.
Well,
accountability. Now we know the secret.
This is true. I wanted to mention something that I actually had, not surprisingly, a coach tell me pretty early in my career. And this was very helpful to me in other areas of my life as well. And what he said was, my frustration was, I'm like, boy, I know what to do. I just can't do it, or I don't do it, or whatever, because we all know what to do. I mean, I don't think any of us have a gap there. What he shared with me that was frankly, it was a gift, because I was able to then build on it, is he said, well, you know what to do. You don't yet have the muscle to do it. And
right.
no reason why a mental exercise should be treated any differently than a physical exercise. If you're going to do 20 contacts, start with 2.
Yeah.
The next day, do 3, and just build incrementally. And that was such a relief to me. I felt like such a failure knowing I know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm still not doing it. Therefore, I should just go back to, get a different job. And that was it was a gift. That was probably one of the most important things anyone ever said to me as far as how to get going. So
just start with the 5-pound weights and work your way up to the 10, then the 15, then the 20. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Or the secret that's been revealed here, both of them have 2 coaches each. So if you learned anything, get 2 coaches each.
You'll get really good at Zoom calls.
That's right.
Thanks so much. This has been fantastic. I think there's a lot of powerful stuff here that if you're not having a great spring, play this 5 or 6 times and then go out and have a great spring because you deserve it, everybody.
Absolutely. Kerry, it was such a pleasure to have you on today. And Ren, thank you for allowing me to co-host. It was a real treat. And it was so nice to get to meet you even here virtually.
Oh, thank you. Thank you both for calling. And I'm thrilled that I got the invite. And if I can ever help you guys, let me know, okay?
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Kerry. And folks, if you're watching on Vulcan 7 and you want to get involved with the Lead Gen Facebook group that simulcasts our show, they are at facebook.com/groups/got-objections. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not yet involved with Vulcan 7, make sure to sign up at vulcan7.com/lead-gen for a special deal. And make sure you're here next week when we have another powerful agent with some great ideas that you need to watch over and over again and have an amazing career and amazing life. See you guys next week.